In the early stages of the Iron Age period, a new culture started to evolve across Europe. This new culture is known as the Celtic culture, and its influence made its way into Ireland through trade and travel. With the coming of the Anglo-Saxons, most of the Celts who lived in Britain fled to Ireland. In time, Ireland became the major center of Celtic culture. Ireland had no cities. The people were divided into clans that lived in small villages. Most farmed and raised cattle. The more cattle a person owned, the wealthier that person was considered to be. The Irish were a seafaring people too. They made boats called coracles by stretching cowhides over a wooden frame. Some coracles were large enough to hold as many as 30 people. The boats handled well at sea and were used for travel, trade, and fishing. Warriors and craftsmen were held in high regard in Celtic society and were considered to be part of the noble class. A king or chief was in charge. Farmers were part of the lower class in Celtic society. Despite their reputation as being barbaric, they were quite skilled in metalworking and made fine jewelry from gold, silver, copper, and bronze. Celts took great care in their appearance and frowned on those who let their bodies get soft. Brightly colored cloaks, golden torques, and bronze armlets adorned their bodies to express their wealth and high rank. Celtic women wore makeup and styled their hair in plaits. Celtic warriors limed their hair and made it stand up and pulled it back to the nape of their neck. This was probably a battle tactic to make themselves look frightening to the enemy. They painted themselves with blue paint called woad. Both men and women were heavily tattooed. They also beat their swords and spears against their leather shields, creating an awful sound meant to scare the enemy. In early times, they even fought naked. Fierce and proud, warriors liked to boast about their feats of great valor on the battlefield. The Irish were able to remain free of Germanic attacks because of their island was located further out in the Atlantic Ocean than Britain. Scholars, artists, merchants, and monks from many parts of Europe came to Ireland because of its peace and safety. Irish scholars and artists were influenced by Christianity. The Irish Church was founded by St. Patrick. Born in Britain in the 400s AD, St. Patrick was kidnapped when he was young and taken to Ireland by Irish pirates. Later he escaped to Europe, where he studied to be a priest. After becoming a bishop, he returned to Ireland and converted the people to Christianity. He spread his message all through the island and set up many new churches. Ireland lost contact with Rome during the Germanic invasions of the Roman Empire. This meant the Pope could no longer lead the Irish Church. So the church turned to its abbots. Many were related to the heads of different clans. Each clan supported its own monastery. The monasteries became centers of Irish life, although many were in places that were not accessible, on rocky coasts or steep hills. Most monasteries were made up of a group of huts with a wooden stockade around them. Some monasteries were built of stone. Because of poor transportation and communication, church organization was weak, so each monastery took charge of its own affairs. Irish monks soon began to follow different practices than those of the Roman Church. They wore their hair in a different way and celebrated Easter on a different day. The rituals were not the same as those of the Romans. Irish monasteries set down few rules. A monk was free to move from one monastery to another. Many monks chose to be hermits. Others set up schools to teach Christianity, and still others became missionaries. They sailed the North Atlantic and the Irish Sea seeking new converts and looking for islands on which to build new monasteries. One of the best-known monks was St. Columba. He set up a monastery on Iona, an island off the west coast of Scotland. From his base on Iona, St. Columba did missionary work among the many non-Christian Celts along the coast. Monks from Iona went to northern England to preach to the Anglo-Saxons. Other Irish monks went to northern Europe, where they built monasteries and churches. Many Irish scholars became part of Charlemagne's palace school. They helped spread Christianity and learning throughout the empire.